President Clinton, a longtime friend of Hillary Clinton. He's not working for the campaign, but he is speaking out. Feels he knows Hillary Clinton as well as anyone, and he's probably right. Lanny, first off, gun control, big deal all of a sudden for Hillary Clinton?
Oh, all through the years, she's been in favor of background checks for people with violent records, people who are mentally insane, supported congressional legislation that would have required that. 82% of the American people told Gallup they supported that legislation. So she speaks about reforms, but she also supports the Second Amendment and people who use guns responsibly.
Yeah, we are talking, there are background checks, and I think for the mentally ill, they're not able to get guns, right?
There are not required background checks in all 50 states. That's not correct. In some states, there are checks about mentally ill, but there are no background checks requiring you to find out who is violent, who has criminal records in all 50 states. Congress had a chance. 82% of the American people, you would think in a democracy they could get legislation. That legislation was defeated, and that's what she was referring to.
Here is with Pew Research, people say America thinks about guns. 52% say protect gun rights. 46% say gun control rights. So there's still more people in charge of have a weapon if you want a weapon. In this case,
sure.
Is it clear?
And Hillary Clinton supports the Second Amendment, the right to possess firearms, and the way that question is worded doesn't dispute, which asks, would you support background checks for the violent, for mentally unstable people as a national requirement? Only the National Rifle Association, 18% of American people, seem to dominate 82%, and that's really what I think Secretary Clinton is pointing
Very similar to the Newtown debate, and people saw how crazy Adam Lanza was and how irresponsible his mom was. Now let's talk about racism. This is the portion of her speech on Saturday. Listen.
Bodies are once again being carried out of a black church. Once again, racist rhetoric has metastasized into racist violence.
We got a chance to read this this suspect's manifesto. It's as repulsive as anything you'll ever read. Do you think that racism is something that Hillary Clinton is going to be adopting for the next year and a half?
Well, first of all, she's talking about the specific racism of this sick, pathological sociopath, whatever monstrous word you can use. And by the way, I would like to point out that she is not saying that if we had background checks that this sociopath, this monster, would have been prevented. That's far beyond the argument for common sense reforms. But the answer is she was referring to racism here. She also refers to the fact of life that if you're a young black male in the United States, you are more likely to be stopped, you are more likely to be imprisoned. It is a fact of life that even today there's more segregation in our schools than there was in the 1960s. You are 500 times more likely to die if you're a black child from asthma
really have 10
than if you're a white
Lanny,
child.
Do you think she's going to run on this?
I think it's one of the many issues America faces. I would say that right now it is an issue every American, white, black, and in between should be worried about. Yeah.